So one of the ways that you give away money was through an investment in Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
Why did you do so many deals? Why did so many people get the benefit of your optimism?
Part of it was experience. You know, as an investment banker for 20, 25 years, I supported personally, with my own capital, over 400 startups. It was just one a week. That was no big deal. But the deal flow that we had, but it was some people, Paul Colburn's group, I've probably funded 20 times because blind pools from Paul Colburn make sense. I trust him. I understand. He understands governance. He understands responsibility, and he knows how to grow companies. So I would just automatically. So a lot of the investing was blind pool. But as I got to know management, I started to realize it wasn't just blind pool. It was a bet on management. So
Bet on
that
good people.
thinking, a bet on people, exactly. So that evolved over time. So I stopped investing in ideas, but investing in people who understood their ideas. Big difference. You know, people would come in with their maps to show us the geology of an area, and I understood engineering well enough that I knew when they were blowing smoke and not. But most importantly, I wanted to understand, had they looked at the neighbor well? I mean, had they done their homework? If they couldn't answer some of the tougher questions about the property, as opposed to just give me the sizzle and glitz, they weren't worthy of, if you will, they hadn't done their homework. So the same thing started to happen when I got on Dragon's Den. I was just evaluating people. And that's why I had to sit back and wait for the theatrics to end. And you sat in the back watching this all the time, but I'd wait for the yatter to go through, and all four of them would take their moments and then say they're out. And then often I would start my questions. And if I was going to do a deal, we had that little signal with the producer where I'd drum my fingers. And you'd never see this on set, but I'd drum my fingers saying, get this out of here. Because they're not going to do a deal. I'm not going to do a deal. Just wrap as quick as you. As soon as you've got the footage you want, I'm out. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to hold you up. But if I started flipping open my book, I had that notepad. And if I flipped open the book a few times, that was my signal to the producer, give me time. I'm going to do a deal here.
You also were big on the lean in. I used to always watch your body language.
Yeah.
The more you lean in, the more you fund. The less you lean in, the least you fund. Am I the only person who saw that? I don't think
maybe.
so.
I was tired sometimes. And they actually have footage of me asleep on set. Because they're just, come on, guys.
We have a lot of footage.
They had some long days. But so the real answer to your question is I started investing in people over time. And so when Dragon's Den came along, I didn't second guess their decisions on whether or not pink work boots would sell. I wanted to determine whether or not she had the passion and the drive to make pink work boots work. Or if we hit a fork in the road, we'd go make brown work boots and compete in that market. Or in the case of Uno, which is one of the classic stories, the kid I funded, the other dragons all dropped out.
Uno was the unicycle that had a geo thing.
Yep.
He was a 19-year-old East Coaster, brilliant kid.
Brilliant, absolutely. He's at MIT, blah, blah, blah. But he ended up dropping that product. So I put $250,000 or maybe $500,000 in total, but $250,000 at the time into that deal. All the dragons had said they were in. As soon as we realized, the other dragons realized we had to pay to do our own due diligence, they all dropped out. They were gone. So I did the due diligence, did the homework, liked the IP that he had, and said, let's go. But I always said I was investing in the intellectual brain trust that was Ben Gulak. And guess what? We ended up deciding that that cycle didn't belong on the roads, didn't belong on the sidewalks. It just didn't have a place, so we weren't going to make it work. But he stumbled across another product called the Shredder. We're building 10,000 of those. We might do 20 million in revenue this year. My investment will be paid back many times over because I bet on the horse, bet on the jockey, not the horse.